What's up guys, I'm Jem and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator. In this episode, we're going to be building one of the new cars in the Ford DLC. Now we're going to the auction house and see if we can pick ourselves up one of these new cars. Oh, there's a two-wheel drive version that I just found. There's the Mach 1. That's so cool. For the four cars that they did pick all good cars, I will say that. Woo! This thing is beat! Jesus Christ! Jesus crikey. What? I want to take a picture from this side. Let me get a thumbnail. Alright, let's see. It looks like that's a gas engine though, if I'm right. Two-wheel drive. What type of engine does it use? Boss, rear-wheel drive. Okay, so these are Coyote. That's cool they added the Coyote. Dude, they added some good engines too in this game. But what I'm disappointed with is I didn't see that they added any diesel engines. Which is very disappointing. So I'm just going to assume that's a gas engine. But let's get the auction started and let's get this thing home. Alright, hear me out. This is an F350. Don't the 350s have the exhaust coming out the side, like right over here, or is that just the diesel versions? Because I think this would be the gas version. I don't think they added the diesels in this game. This is cool. Oh yeah, this is nice. Another thing that I wish they added is like the variety of the truck. Like I wish, since this is a four-door, I wish they added the cab and the half and the single cab too, which is the same engine options. Okay, let's go bring this up to the lifts. Let's see what you can take off the pieces. Can you take this grill off? Okay, so the grill has to stay. Tail lights. That actually doesn't look. They don't look like they're in that bad a condition. Fender. Did I take the fender off of this side? I believe that's everything for the body parts. Let's get all this suspension out of here. Start tearing this thing down. We gotta change up these rims. Hopefully they have some good options for rims that would fit the truck nicely. The DLC ended up costing around $5, I think, maybe $5.50, somewhere around there. But only 4 cars. And I'm thinking, when you have such a brand like Ford, there's so many good cars that you could have added. They added some decent ones. I believe they did a Ford GT40, I think the name. I'll put a list on the screen of what cars they added, but it's like they missed out on the Fox body Mustangs, the Thunderbirds, like Fairmonts. There's so many things you could have added. There should have been like 10 plus cars in this update, in my opinion. And $5 is a little bit steep for just 4 cars. I think that they really dropped the ball when it comes to this update. You could have added so many good cars. Like, make the DLC $7 and add 10 cars. You could find 10 solid Ford vehicles that are... each one of them is worth it. Even the diesels, the old Ford trucks, they added 1 truck in this Ford update. I'm just disappointed because there's so many. You could have added the 6.0, 7.3, so many different trucks that you could have added with the Ford update. And Ford also has such a long line of great muscle cars that they had throughout the 70s and 60s. Just really dropped the ball in my opinion. To be fair, I do want to say that I don't know what money it takes to build all these, so I don't know if it's necessarily their decision to only do 4 or if... like, what's the best financial move for them, basically. But just as a fan, like, I felt like there was a lot more that they could have done, or that they should have done. But again, I don't know the financial side of it, of what it cost them to put these in the game. Alright, that's the suspension all pulled out. Now let's drain this oil. And then we'll pull the engine. Bring this over there. Move you. Drop you. I'm really interested to see how that engine is built. That's one thing that I love about the new updates is building the engines for the first time. It's always really interesting. Something new and refreshing. I wonder how this thing's gonna sound. It's only making 3 or almost 400 horsepower. But it should still sound good. Right, that's everything out of the truck. Before we build the engine, we're gonna quickly hook up the welder and get this frame back into shape. What? Is there a windshield on this? How is the windshield wipers just sitting there? She could jump in this game. Can you jump in this game? I don't know. Alright, finally the part that I'm interested in. Let's see what this engine is. Where is it? Right, this engine was actually really interesting to build. Apparently it does have two sets of spark plugs. And I have no clue what the reasoning behind that is. How that would help it perform better. That's very interesting. I never even knew that was an actual thing till now. Alright, there's this thing all done. Take it off this engine stand. Alright, we're gonna plop the new suspension back underneath this thing. Another thing that they definitely could have added was a dually setting, or a dually version of the trucks. Since there's so many different configurations that Ford does for it with the single cab and all that, they could have also done a dually. Which I think... I don't want to say that they were just lazy with the DLC, but I feel like there was just so much more that they could have done. Especially for $5, even if they didn't add more than 4 vehicles, I feel like there could have been, the versions of the vehicles could have been a lot better. Unless it's in the game already, and I don't know. So this is the first one that I've gotten, but it looks like they've just done a few versions of the car that doesn't really change too much about it. Except what engine is in it. Or whether, apparently with this one's supposed to be 2-wheel drive compared to, I'm guessing the stock ones are 4-wheel drive? Unless 4-wheel drive is just another version, I don't know. But I will probably find out eventually. I wonder if they added any rims into the game. I didn't read the full patch notes. But it would be cool if they did add some rims, especially since I don't think too many of the car rims are gonna look good on this truck. At least you can control the size of the rim and all that, which is very nice. So you might be able to get some of the car rims to look good. Alright, let's get the trans. We gotta get the engine in first, and then we'll do the transmission, drive shaft, and then we just have to do a few more things in the engine bay. Then we can start putting all the doors and fenders back on this thing and making it look nice. I'm just collecting these V8 transmissions, man. Because every time I do anything with performance parts, I normally always have to upgrade the trans. So stock one just gets blown out at like 136. Alright, now that all that's in. We're finally gonna hook this thing up with some body panels. Let's get this interior in. What is up with the seats? I don't like that texture at all. Unless that's supposed to be like the, it kind of reminds me of like the work truck, the floors. Kind of like gritty so that they don't get dirty. Or they can get dirty and they're easier to clean. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But that kind of looks like sandpaper. That seems uncomfortable. I don't like that at all. Those are the chairs it gave me. I don't know if those come in black. Those might come in black. Alright, I couldn't find it, but it might come in black. I didn't search that thoroughly. I just did a quick scan, and the only ones that I could find with Ford on it were these color seats, which I'm not a fan of at all. Alright, I'm gonna go try to find some rims for this thing. Okay, what I'm thinking is we go for this rim right here. It's all I could really find. I think if I get these in black and make them big enough, that they would look okay. So we're gonna see. Whoever made it so you have to scroll through all this to get stuff, you suck. There should be something that you could search for the part. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really like happy with that. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like something that a street truck would have on it. If it was lowered and all that. I went with the biggest rim possible. Or I guess I gotta go with the bigger rim actually. So I went with the 23, so I guess I'm gonna go try to go with the 25. Alright, this is what it looks like with the rims that I ended up picking. I think it would look a lot better if the rims were black, but to go paint it, I have to scroll through 200 items for each rim, because it sets you back to the start, so I don't feel like doing that. So one thing I am gonna do is I want to hide these seats. I really do not like them one bit. I believe you should be able to change out all the 2 front seats, but I think the bench is there to stay. So I'm just gonna make this as dark as you can get tint. Not a fan. Okay, let's go run this thing over to the paint shop and see if we can get a nice paint job going. These colors are nice. Ooh. I really like this color. It's like a brownish red. Orange. I don't know where I'm just throwing out colors at this point, but it looks nice. Silver fits this one good. I don't really like white. All these metallics. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 2 gloss colors, but all the metallics on it look very nice. But I'm gonna end up going with this orange one. Let's see what kind of liveries we have. Okay, stripes. Stripes. Lame. Whatever. Let's go take this thing down to the track. I'm excited to see what output. Oh, let's dyno it first. I'm predicting around like 800 horsepower, since I put a lot of performance parts on to this thing. I did forget, I believe one of the heads that I put onto the engine was not performance, which sucks. I believe it was just a stock head, because I did tear down the original engine. So I may have accidentally reused one of the parts. Torque for days, fools. $700. Yeah. That's reasonable. I did forget a few performance parts on it. Okay, let's go take this thing to the track. Workshop maps. Does that mean other people are going to be able to create maps? Because that would be cool. I don't know if that's an actual thing. So I was going to say earlier that there's no real off-road map to test these. I mean, the interior looks decent. I can't move my head around, but whatever. Let's see how this thing sounds. What was that? A lot of understeer. It's expected. Yeah, about as slow as you expect a truck with that's 7,000 pounds with only 800 horsepower to be. It might also have to do with me being shit at... I didn't even tune the trans, so that could be my fault, but... Ooh. This thing is heavy. I'm not a fan of how it sounds. I don't know how these gas engines sounded. But not a fan. It sounds kind of weak. See, if they had like the 6.7 in this thing, ooh. And if you're able to straight pipe it, that would sound so nice, dude. That's what I'm saying. I think there's so much they could have expanded on for even like a Ford, Chevy, or Dodge expansion. There's so many cars and so many variables that you can go to, and just it's the finer details that really make the game. But overall, the truck looks amazing, so I will give them that. And I'm not really sure how these trucks sound, so I can't really say much about that, if that sounds accurate or not. Ooh, we're spinning. How does this thing gonna do off-road? It's got off-road tires and it's spinning out on the off-road portion of the course. Nice. I do like I'm getting wrecked in this lap, just so you know. Whoa. I do like that on the rim settings, you're able to get them to stick out a little bit, like away from the bed. Let me see if I can get an angle. See how they stick out a little bit? I do like that, but this thing is about as slow as you would expect. Okay guys, that's all for this video. I know I kind of felt like I talked really negatively about the DLC, but overall, for what they added, they did a pretty good job in the way it looks and the engines and all that. It was very interesting. I am also going to be rebuilding the other 3 cars from the update, so if you're interested for that, stick around. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys later.